I had admired Elias for a long time, until his first love went abroad. I seized the opportunity and finally got what I wanted. I married him. On our wedding night, he was drunk. His gaze was hazy as he cupped my face. But the words he said were ice cold. Celine, you know there's still Rita in my heart. This is a contractual marriage. In 2 years, if there's no need to renew, we'll divorce automatically. I swallowed my hurt and signed the agreement. But in the 2 years that followed, he was with me every night. The bathroom, the balcony, the car, the fields. We did it everywhere, passionately, wildly. He nearly made me forget that Rita ever existed. A month ago, Rita returned to the country after her divorce, and Elias couldn't wait to run back to her side. Fine by me. I'm not renewing this man. Chapter 1. I had just hung up the phone with the divorce lawyer. When I looked up, Elias was walking through the door. I got up to greet him, serving him attentively like a perfectly trained maid. His cold eyes swept over me. Next Saturday, there's a company celebration. You need to be there. I paused while setting the table. I have other plans. What could be more important than my company's event? His tone was sharp, and then suddenly it shifted. Like something clicked. Is it because of me and Rita? Didn't you already make it clear on our wedding night? What's the point of playing coy now? It felt like a needle stabbed me in the chest. That night, I endured the humiliation and signed the divorce agreement just to please him. After his first love got married, I poured everything into caring for him, down to the smallest detail. And in return, all I got was coldness and distance. Now that Rita's divorced and back, all it took was a curl of her finger, and Elias ran to her like a dog. Do I even need to show up to that celebration next Saturday? That's the day our 2-year contract ends. Time to give Rita her spot back. Celine, what are you really planning? His eyes were full of suspicion. For 2 years I lived in fear and heartbreak watching his back. But now he acted like he'd forgotten the countdown to our divorce. I was about to remind him when the phone rang. I picked it up. On the other end came Rita's pitiful, sobbing voice. Rita, don't be scared. I'm on my way. Without even glancing at me, Elias threw on his coat and shoes and walked out the door. The lavish dinner I'd spent the whole afternoon preparing had gone cold and stiff. I quietly packed it up. Just as I was about to toss it in the trash, the hospital called. Is this a family member of Elias? Please come to the hospital immediately. Before I could ask anything, they hung up. I ran red lights the whole way there. When I arrived, I saw Rita sobbing like a damsel in distress, clinging tightly to Elias's chest. My heart twisted in agony, but I still forced myself to walk over and ask what was going on. Elias gently patted Rita's back. Rita's father had a uremia attack. He needs an urgent kidney transplant. I've been confirmed as a match. I leaned against the cold wall behind me to keep from collapsing. You're going to donate a kidney? Even if you still have the other. Your body. I'm not asking for your approval. I'm informing you. I just need the legal guardian's signature. He cut me off sharply. Rita cried softly beside him. Elias, my dad doesn't have much time left. I laughed bitterly inside. I was just a legal signature tool. Someone else was there to truly love him. After I signed the consent form, Elias walked into the operating room without even looking back. He really did love Rita with everything he had. Even his life. Chapter 2. While waiting, Rita cried like a waterfall. Elias has always been this devoted. Last year, when my work won an award, Elias maxed out his card on a shopping spree with me. Bought all sorts of useless bundled purchases just to make me happy. It was so extravagant. My heart sank to the bottom. So, all the gifts he gave me were just leftovers from Rita's shopping sprees, and I'd cherished each one like a treasure. These years I was abroad. Elias kept sending me portrait sketches, even though I never gave him hope. He never stopped drawing me. It felt like a thunderbolt struck my chest. So, the sketchbook he always carried around wasn't for design proposals, it was filled with Rita's portraits. I used to think he worked tirelessly because of our family's business partnership. I used to think, maybe he had valued this marriage. Even just a little. I was just fooling myself. Rita still wanted to flaunt more, but I politely cut her off and walked away. From that day on, Rita posted updates on Elias daily. He hadn't fully recovered, yet was already busy arranging follow-up treatment for her father, caring like a real son. The latest post left me breathless. At a farm, Elias, face pale and sickly, dragged his weak body to pick fresh lychees for her. By hand. Caption, to be loved like this. I could die without regret. The phone slipped from my fingers. Tears blurred my vision. In the past, I'd handpicked fresh ingredients every day just to ensure he ate safely. Now, everything he gives, it's for someone else. I wiped my tears and silently made a vow. From now on, I'll only love myself. I packed my bags and calmly waited for the marriage contract to expire. What I didn't expect was that 2 days later, Elias returned to the villa. He said there was a baby's 1-month celebration at a relative's house. Even though I'd let go of Elias, our two families still had to keep up appearances. So I went. At the banquet, the elders started nagging about children. You two have been married almost 2 years now. Still no news from Rita? One relative glanced at my stomach. I lowered my head. Silent. Elias stepped in. It's still early. Everyone exchanged glances. His mother's face froze awkwardly, then quickly changed the topic to food. Just before the banquet ended, a dessert was served, Elias's favorite, coconut cake. I didn't touch it, but his mother insisted on feeding me a bite herself. Everyone praised how she treated me like her own daughter. I frowned as I swallowed it. Later, I felt dizzy, couldn't remember how I got home. When I woke up, it was already deep into the night. My body was burning hot, dry with thirst. I reached out, turned on the light. Elias was lying next to me, flushed, breathing heavily. What's wrong with you? I asked, concerned. His voice was hoarse as he pressed me down. You and I both took something. Something? Only then did I realize his mother had insisted I eat that coconut cake for a reason. Just as I was about to push him away, Elias had already impatiently yanked open my blouse. The moment his lips touched my neck, his phone started buzzing. He frowned, picked it up, and instantly pulled away from me. Rita? What's wrong? Elias. My computer's acting up. There are really important files on it. Can you come over and take a look? Okay. Wait for me. He hung up, walked into the bathroom alone, and turned the faucet on full blast. When he came back out, his suit was drenched. Without giving me a chance to stop him, he walked out the door. I gave a mocking smile. Of course, I should have known better than to hope for anything from him. The drug was beginning to take full effect. I soaked in cold water for a long time, but the unbearable heat refused to subside. Out of options, I picked up the fruit knife from the table and, gritting my teeth, slashed my arms again and again. Bright red blood seeped silently into the carpet, and finally, a wave of cold washed over me. An hour later, the drug had finally worn off. I let out a long breath of relief. Then, footsteps echoed outside the door. Elias. Mom made some soup. Opened the door. I had no strength to respond. My mother-in-law pushed the door open. She entered with a cheerful smile, but her expression twisted instantly when she saw my bloodied arms and the stained carpet. She pointed at me and began screaming. You, what the hell is wrong with you? You couldn't even keep Elias. No wonder he gave up a kidney for Rita's father. You did all this for me to see? Huh? She clutched her chest. What kind of fate is this? A son who won't listen. A useless daughter-in-law. The next moment, she began gasping for breath. People rushed in to carry her back to her room. She specifically demanded that I take care of her. But the divorce agreement was nearly up. Their family affairs were no longer my concern. Clutching my bleeding arm, I said calmly, I think I'd better call Elias and have him come back. What did you just say? She shouted, suddenly full of breath again. He married you just so you could infuriate me like this? Hold her down. Today I'll teach her what it means to be a daughter-in-law. In the next second, the household staff pinned me to the ground. My mother-in-law grabbed a leather belt and began whipping me viciously. Each strike landed like fire, painful at first, then numb, every lash cutting deeper into my soul. And right at this moment, I could only imagine Elias and Rita lost in their passionate embrace. Chapter 3. Exhausted from beating me, my mother-in-law finally dropped the belt. She likes self-harming so much. Fine. Send her to a mental hospital. Let them treat her properly. I'm not sick. You have no right to make decisions for me. I fought with all my strength, but a sedative was injected into me, and I sank into endless darkness. By the time Elias showed up, I had already spent a full day in the psychiatric ward. My mom only did this because she's worried about me. I've already argued with her. She won't bother you again. Surprisingly, Elias spoke in a calm, reasonable tone. I couldn't even be bothered to argue. I just nodded and agreed to everything. He helped me out of the hospital. Maybe it was the after effect of the drugs, but I suddenly felt dizzy and accidentally leaned into his arms. Elias gently patted my shoulder. Celine, are you okay? I was just about to push him away when a familiar voice called out from a distance. Elias! Why didn't you come to my art exhibit today? Were you with her? Rita's voice trembled with sobs. Elias immediately let go of me and rushed toward her. Left alone in the cold wind, I watched their figures disappear together, my heart swallowed by a hollow, aching void. On the third day of resting at home, my best friend Lily messaged me. There's an auction tonight. Wanna come? She dropped the link in the chat. A stunning necklace caught my eye, an emerald centerpiece that looked unbelievably familiar. It was the necklace I'd lost. My mother's keepsake. Of course I had to go. A rare emerald necklace. A true collector's treasure. Starting bid, 3 million. The auctioneer's voice stirred the room into frenzy. The bidding escalated instantly. Paddles rose like waves. The numbers on the giant screen soared upward. Gritting my teeth, I called out, 6 million. Just as the gavel was about to fall, a sharp female voice cut in, 6,010,000. I turned toward the voice. It was Rita, sitting right beside her, Elias. Her bid was followed by laughter that swept through the room. 6,010,000? Is she joking? Where'd this bumpkin come from? Doesn't even understand bidding increments. That's Elias's new taste in women now? Embarrassed, Rita instinctively turned to Elias for help. The whispers grew sharper, the mockery harsher. Elias gently patted her hand and raised his paddle in a clear gesture. Oh my God, Elias is lighting the sky lantern for her. That's so romantic. Romantic? Are you kidding? The one who bid 6 million was Elias's wife. Poor woman, that's brutal. A wave of disappointment crushed me. 6 million was already my limit. Rita sat back down, eyes sparkling with triumph, her gaze gloating as it met mine. When the auction ended, the necklace was clasped around her neck, gleaming brilliantly. I couldn't stop myself. I stepped forward and blocked Elias. There's a flaw near the clasp. That necklace, it belonged to my mother. If you name a price, I can pay in installments. Rita immediately looked tearful. If big sister says it's hers, I'll give it back. But Elias held her back, his voice cutting like ice. Celine, when did you become so unreasonable? There are plenty of coincidences in the world. How can you be so sure that's the one you lost? He pulled out his phone and sent me a transfer. 6 million. There. It's yours. Go buy whatever you want. Just stop fighting with Rita over things. With that, he wrapped his arm around Rita and walked past me. Fighting over things? Elias, you're wrong. I never cared about competing with her for anything. Even when it comes to you, I don't care anymore. Finally, the day of the company anniversary arrived. For once, Elias offered to take me to a boutique to pick out a new dress. But my heart wasn't in it, because today was the day our divorce agreement officially took effect. I had booked my flight for tonight. I didn't want any more entanglements or arguments, so I decided I'd be Elias's wife for just half an hour more. Elias was strangely patient, helping me choose dresses without complaint. When I finally stepped out in a long gown, a flash of amazement appeared in his eyes. Then he opened a velvet jewelry box and took out a familiar emerald necklace. As I stood stunned, he gently fastened it around my neck. Celine, I had this custom made, an exact replica of the one you lost. Same design, same craftsmanship. What do you think? Do you like it? At tonight's celebration, you'll be the center of attention. His expression was, for once, sincere. So this was it. Everything he did today, including the necklace, was just to decorate the company's image. I feigned joy. Thank you. I love it. No, I couldn't wait to take it off. I didn't want the auction necklace either anymore. Maybe my mother had been teaching me something from above. A true treasure is never something you have to cry and fight for. When we arrived at the venue, I took Elias's arm and stepped out of the car. Elias, I'm going to touch up my makeup. I let go of him just as he was lowering his head to read a message from Rita. He simply nodded absent-mindedly. I walked through the corridor. The emergency lights in the staff hallway cast a dividing line across the floor. I turned back one last time. He was already engrossed in conversation with clients. Goodbye, Elias. Chapter 4. At the company's celebration banquet. Guests showered Elias with compliments, young, capable, promising, but his mind was elsewhere. He kept scanning the room, searching for her. Dozens of calls, dozens of texts. No reply. As the minutes ticked by, Elias grew increasingly restless. Only now did he realize she used to reply to every message within seconds. The assistant he had sent to search every corner came back empty-handed. Panic set in. Elias decided to act himself. He accessed the surveillance footage. Finally, he spotted her. In the staff hallway footage, she appeared, slender and determined, her figure full of finality. But that was 2 hours ago. He remembered, he had been looking down at Rita's message, while Celine said she was going to touch up her makeup. He regretted not stopping her. A creeping sense of dread gripped his heart. Leaving the guests behind, Elias rushed out of the venue. Engines roared. He drove straight home, stormed into the living room. The villa was eerily quiet. On the coffee table lay a divorce agreement, a bank book, $6 million deposited, and a familiar velvet box. Inside it, the emerald necklace, dull and lifeless. Divorce agreement? He suddenly remembered. Today, exactly 2 years ago, was their wedding night. He was the one who persuaded Celine to sign that contract. He slumped into the couch, overwhelmed by a kind of helplessness he had never known before. Suddenly, click-clack heels echoed against the floor. Rita appeared at the doorway. Elias, I made pork trotter soup. It's good for your recovery. Okay. His face was blank, no smile, cold, unfamiliar. Rita walked up and spotted the papers on the table. Her eyes widened. Is big sister filing for divorce? Elias's expression darkened. Rita seemed to realize something. Wait, is it because of that necklace? I mean, you lit the sky lantern for me in front of everyone. I understand how she might have felt, but honestly, Elias, you're so busy. And she's still stuck on that kind of petty thing. Elias said nothing. He kept staring at the divorce agreement. Rita's gaze shifted subtly. Her eyes watered. Elias, seeing you so drained over her, it really hurts me too. I don't want that necklace anymore. I'll return it to her myself. I'll go back to Europe. What drain? Elias took her hand and sneered. It's a business arrangement. Don't overthink it. Rita opened the velvet box and was stunned. This, $6 million in a bank book? And an identical emerald necklace? You made her an exact replica? She was ready to throw a tantrum, but seeing Elias's annoyed expression, she quickly changed her tone. You treat her so well, and yet she still wasn't satisfied. I bet she's already found someone richer. Elias's brows furrowed, irritated, restless. I'm tired. Rita, let's talk tomorrow. As long as you're happy, I'll always understand. Rita stroked his chin with forced sweetness, then turned and left. The villa fell into silence once more. Inside Elias's chest, the beast he had caged for too long finally broke loose. It roared, it thrashed, it destroyed. But the pain inside him didn't ease, it only intensified. Surrounded by chaos, Elias sat on the floor in defeat. He picked up his phone. Have you found her? Still searching. Hurry. Chapter 5. After leaving Elias's house, Lily found me shortly after. Congrats. Congrats. Finally got rid of that toxic man. So, how about becoming my business partner? The firm's just getting started, and I really need a reliable auditor. Before I got married, I'd already been taking on independent projects under one of the big four, PwC. I had all the professional certifications in the field. I accepted the offer and took over the audit for the Yushi commercial complex. A few days later, during the grand opening ceremony of Yushi, Lily had an emergency and messaged me to attend in her place and entertain some clients. I thought I'd just be doing some light networking until the E-Group logo hit me like a truck. Heart tightening. I asked the complex manager, and only then learned that one of the new investment firms behind the project was backed by E-Group. Without hesitation, I handed all project coordination over to a colleague and found an excuse to leave. I walked into the underground parking garage, let out a long breath, and was just about to open my car door when I heard someone shout, "Madam? Is that really Madam, boss?" I wasn't seeing things. Across a few luxury cars, I saw Elias frozen in place, staring at me. His assistant was practically glowing with excitement. Elias quickly approached and pressed the car door shut. His faint smile was tinged with mockery. "So you became Lily's partner? Wasn't being my wife good enough? How much is she paying you?" "I'll pay you 10 times more." I turned away, gazing off into the distance, expressionless. Trying to poach me now? I've just settled into my new role, not looking to jump ship. His arm suddenly blocked my way, trapping me against the car. The space grew suffocating. "Celine, you think you can just drop a divorce agreement and walk away?" I leaned back against the car door, avoiding his burning gaze. "We signed that divorce agreement 2 years ago. Are you pretending to have amnesia now? Your first love is right beside you. Why keep clinging to me?" "I'm talking about you and me. Why bring her into this?" He snapped, frustration flaring. I let out a cold laugh and shoved him away. "Why not bring her up? Wasn't our early divorce agreement all because of her?" Elias froze for a moment, then clenched his jaw, clearly ready to issue orders again. But I was no longer his wife. "Elias, do you even understand the word boundaries?" I turned to get into the driver's seat, but he yanked me back forcefully. Just then, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, and his anger eased. No need to guess, it was Rita. I was forced to stand there, listening to him speak sweetly to her on the phone. Then he finally let me go. "I'll come find you again," he said. He walked away in a hurry, tall and poised. Once, that view left me heartbroken. Now, it was just boring. Back at the office, Lily threw her arms around me in excitement. Our firm had officially secured overseas channels. "Celine, want to go abroad and take on the world together?" We laughed. We danced. Our eyes sparkled with hope for the future. Chapter 6. After the plane landed, I was still adjusting to the time difference. Lily walked in with a pizza in hand, her face full of gossipy excitement. "Celine, you're gonna love this. Things are blowing up back home." "What kind of drama?" I sat up groggily. She turned on the TV and cast her phone screen, sharing the latest domestic trending topics. E-Group Cosmetics Director's arrogant comment, "Consumer tiers differ, don't criticize blindly." Physique differences, not the product's fault. E-Group's cosmetics cause allergic reactions and poisoning, massive lawsuit looming. Multiple E-Group consumer brands face boycotts, shareholder panic spreads. Cosmetics Director exposed, foreign marriage history. Knowingly became the mistress. I stayed silent. At this point, Elias must be doing everything he can to shield Rita. Lily nudged me. "What? Still feeling bad for him? He's dead set on protecting his first love. Remember?" I shook my head and smiled. "Not really. I'm just relieved we pulled some of our funds recently. Otherwise, we'd be sucked into a financial black hole." Lily told me the gossip had spread everywhere in the domestic business scene. E-Group's shareholders had spent 3 generations building up networks and resources. Now, thanks to that cosmetics brand, they were bleeding money. And Elias, still falling for Rita's sweet talk, was pulling reserve funds from profitable subsidiaries to cover the cosmetics losses. The senior shareholders even went to Elias's family estate, begging his mother to knock some sense into him. His mother was so furious she slapped Rita, had a stroke, and ended up in the ICU. And guess what? While the poor old lady's in critical care, Rita's online showing off her new watch. Can you believe it? A watch worth tens of millions. Elias is really willing to splurge for her. I gave a cold laugh. Clearly, E-Group really does have deep pockets. Even in the middle of a PR disaster, she has time to show off. Lily waved dismissively. "Deep pockets? Please, the scandal's not even over." Elias is still scrambling with PR teams trying to contain the damage. On screen, Elias appeared, wearing a sharp suit, but clearly fatigued. He was apologizing to the media, being escorted away by assistants, looking utterly defeated. But none of this had anything to do with me anymore. Lily and I were now busy across Europe, meeting clients during the day, and researching local auditing standards at night to strengthen our negotiation power. A month later, a major international sports brand in London invited us to a private banquet. They were very satisfied with our auditing proposal, so Lily and I happily accepted. The brand director welcomed us personally. We were chatting warmly when a familiar voice suddenly rang out. "Hey, James. Long time no see." The director smiled and opened his arms to hug the newcomer. It was Elias, again. His burning gaze was invasive. Lily and I turned to leave immediately, but Elias grabbed me right there. "Celine, didn't I tell you? We're not finished." Chapter 7. Let go. You've been trending on social media lately. If photos of this get back home, it won't look good, I said, forcefully shaking him off. Instead, he stepped closer, his breath grazing my ear. "So, is this your game? Running off abroad just to make me worry? Is this how you play hard to get?" I swallowed my anger. "Elias, don't flatter yourself." Elias's face darkened instantly. "Big sister? Is that really you?" Rita appeared out of nowhere, smugly linking her arm with Elias's. "Wow, sister. Looks like you've got no shortage of men chasing after you. Which handsome guy did you come with this time? Care to introduce us?" Lily couldn't hold back a laugh. "Miss Rita, we're not like you. I'd be careful if I were you." "Elias," Lily added coolly, "my friends in the domestic media would love some juicy dirt on you." Rita's eyes flickered, and tears welled up at the corners. She clung to Elias. "Elias, did you hear that? They're deliberately shaming me, trying to embarrass me." The noise caught the attention of nearby guests. Some of our fellow countrymen recognized Rita. "Isn't that the cosmetics boss who's been in the news abroad? The homewrecker herself, acting all high and mighty overseas? What a disgrace." Rita's face flushed red, nearly dripping blood. She turned to Elias for help. "Elias, let's leave. Sister clearly hasn't forgiven me. I bet all those negative headlines are." "Shut up," Elias snapped, cutting her off harshly. Rita was stunned. She'd probably never been treated this way. "Elias, what's wrong with you?" she asked in a small, trembling voice. "Go wait in the car." Elias's tone was icy. "Don't make me say it twice." Rita had no choice but to leave, crying as she hurried out. Lily stepped in front of me. "What now?" "Your first love stormed off. So you're here to win Celine back?" "Save it. I just want to talk to her," Elias said, his gaze passing over Lily, landing on me with a complicated expression. "Then find a room," Lily said, impatient. "You've already caused enough scandals. Don't drag us into it." We went into a private room. Elias immediately grabbed me, desperate. "Celine, listen to me. There's nothing between me and Rita. I just felt sorry for her." I let out a cold, furious laugh. "Sorry for her? Elias, is this your idea of pity? Buying her jewels like they're trinkets? Starting companies on a whim? Letting her ruin your reputation? I had no idea you were this compassionate. Maybe you should run a charity." Elias's brows knitted tightly. "Celine, are you jealous of how I treat her? I promise you." I finally lost it. I smashed the glass in my hand, shards flying, the sound sharp and jarring. I grabbed his collar, face twisted with rage. "Jealous? Elias, I feel nothing but disgust for you." "Disgust? Do you understand?" He had never seen me like this, wild, untamed. Shock froze his face for a few seconds. Then he softened. "Celine." Lily stepped forward and pulled me back, her phone in hand. "Mr. CEO." Celine's made herself perfectly clear. She said no, and that means no. "As for your precious first love, see for yourself." Elias sneered at first, but when he opened the video, his expression shifted to disbelief. "No, did you fake this?" Lily shrugged. "No need. I've got plenty of Rita's little party clips from her days studying abroad. If you weren't Celine's ex, I wouldn't even bother giving you this." In the video, Rita was dressed provocatively, grinding up against several men in a nightclub. Then, in an apartment, she was smoking, drinking, throwing wild parties, her behavior beyond anything one could imagine. All those guys? Trust fund brats from the study abroad circle. As long as she kept them entertained, money wasn't an issue. Her reputation overseas was already trash. Lily sneered. "And yet you treat her like she's a priceless gem. Do you even know why she got married and divorced so quickly?" Someone sent those photos to her ex-husband as a prank. He kicked her out on the spot. Did she tell you she wanted to come back to China for her career? Claimed the domestic art market was better? Please, she couldn't survive abroad. Latching onto you was the jackpot of her life. Lily smiled, helping me to my feet. I'll email the photos to you. Take a good look. We're done here. Chapter 8. After months of busy work abroad, Lily and I finally returned home. Right after landing, we met up with some friends for dinner, and that's when I learned that E-Group was on the verge of collapse. An internal video from the company had leaked. In the footage, Elias and Rita were in a furious argument. Elias roared and threw a stack of photos at her. Why did you lie to me? Why? Rita collapsed to her knees, clinging to his leg. Elias. Someone must be framing me. I've never lied to you. You thought I didn't know anything? That you could just keep spinning me in circles? Rita, your father's kidney donor match had already succeeded. You insisted I donate mine just so I'd feel more bound to you, so I wouldn't leave you, right? The once proud and commanding Elias now looked disheveled, pitiful. His voice broke into a hopeless scream. Rita kept pleading. Elias yanked her off and stormed out. Moments later, the police arrived and took Rita away. It turned out the investigation results had been released. Rita had taken kickbacks from the raw material suppliers. And for better results, she'd added illegal substances to the products. Elias didn't even bother to hire a lawyer for her. He let her go to jail. The cosmetic brand he had built for her at great cost vanished overnight. So much for splurging on a smile from a beauty. Because of Rita's reckless behavior and arrogant public statements, the online backlash against E-Group only intensified. Stock prices plummeted, and eventually, the company was delisted. Suppliers and clients across the board cut ties. Investors pulled out. Elias was left completely alone. Bankruptcy was the only path left. He had chosen this road himself. He got exactly what he asked for. Outside the restaurant, Lily nudged me and pointed across the street. In the light drizzle, Elias stood there without an umbrella. He walked up to me, carrying a humility I'd never seen on him before. Celine, you've probably heard about the company's situation, right? I nodded. Hard not to. He looked disappointed, like he'd hoped I'd still care. Celine, could you help me? Your family's resources and connections. The moment he opened his mouth, I cut him off. Didn't you read the divorce agreement? My family can't help you anymore. Elias's Adam's apple bobbed with difficulty. Celine, we were married, even just for a while. Surely that still counts for something. I took a deep breath, let out a cold laugh. Elias, if we're talking about who owes who, it's me who's owed, not the other way around. You bringing this up only makes me angrier. I turned to get in the car. He stepped in front of me, his voice shaking. Celine, I never asked anything of you. Can you please help me get through this? I swear, I'll refer more clients to you in the future. I looked at him one last time. Thanks for the offer, but I never relied on you before, and I won't start now. The car pulled away. Through the rain-streaked window, I saw Elias's one straight back hunched ever so slightly. I remembered, once, I too had stood in the snow, coatless and miserable, watching him walk away with Rita, desperate, hoping for just a glance from him. But now, the roles had reversed, and all I felt, for my old self, was pity. Now, I have only one goal, to chase after all the time I once wasted. Chapter 9. Within a year, our firm expanded from a single office floor to 10 floors. Our reputation kept growing, and so did our reach. There was a time when I had been attracted to Elias's power and presence. But now, with my own hands on the wheel of destiny, I no longer envied others. I truly loved myself. While I was buried in work one day, Elias's mother managed to get my number through someone and called me. She wanted to meet. Out of respect for her as an elder, I went. But she was no longer living in the grand family estate. That lavishly decorated villa had been sold off, just to keep the crumbling group afloat. Still, the company's reputation was beyond repair. She was merely struggling in vain. When the car arrived at the address, I found it was an old, worn-down residential complex. The stairwell was dim, without any form of security. It was hard to imagine someone as proud as her could endure such a place. When she opened the security door, her expression held an awkward smile. Celine, Your aura is completely different now. I nodded slightly. What do you need? I don't have much time. She lowered her head and suddenly dropped to her knees. Celine, I beg you, please, save the company. Her hair was gray, her speech slurred from the stroke. This was the same woman who had once drugged me, blamed me for not keeping Elias, whipped me with a belt, and threw me into a psychiatric ward. Now, she clung to me like a beggar, pathetic and desperate. A strange, sour smell lingered in the room. It was clear Elias was completely broke. He couldn't afford her hospital bills, couldn't even hire a caretaker. I pried her hands off and took out my phone to record a video, just in case she tried to frame me for anything. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. She threw herself at my legs and pulled out a necklace. Celine, do you remember this? My heart trembled as I took a closer look. My mother's emerald necklace? She nodded. Your mother and I were best friends back then. I took it back for you, from that wretched woman. Celine, you were always the best daughter-in-law in my heart. I let out a cold laugh. The best? You really are shrewd. Madam, in your house, being a daughter-in-law was never an exclusive role. Rita's place in your family, wasn't that because you indulged Elias? She destroyed the company, and you all share that blame. And now, here you are, looking pitiful and desperate, wanting me to slave for you? Sorry, I've got work to do. I tossed the necklace back into her lap. This replica is well made, but too bad, the emerald's fake. She collapsed on the ground, sobbing bitterly. I didn't blink. I left without turning back. The next day, I saw a headline: Elias's mother found dead alone in her home. No one to claim the body. I asked Lily about it. Well, since you asked, I'll be honest. Elias cracked under the debt and had a breakdown. He's in a psychiatric ward now. You planning to visit him? I waved my hands quickly. Please, I've got a mountain of work. No time for that. Later. Lily and I's firm kept thriving. With enough capital, we expanded into other industries. Eventually, we founded our own company, with our own industrial park. One day, walking past the office area, I overheard some employees chatting about gossip. Did you see that headline? Disgraced CEO picks up mistress from prison. Both found dead in motel, suspected double suicide. Wild. No joke. He was a real CEO, used to run that company E-Group. Remember the cosmetics scandal years ago? Hearing of their deaths, I felt absolutely nothing. It was like hearing about a stranger's tragedy. Boss, there's a document that needs your signature. I took the pen the assistant handed me, like I was taking hold of my brilliant, unstoppable life.